everyone, it's Robin Dudley House, the artsy bohemian, coming to you from my studio in Los Angeles, California. I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple book cover out of fabric and chipboard. And chipboard is really thick cardboard. If you don't have chipboard, you can use 2 or 3 layers of recycled cracker boxes or something similar to that. You just have to glue them all together. So I'm working off of this, which has almost been a year now. I can't believe it, but I started a Shabby Blue series, and this is the cover. I initially thought I was going to be using just lots of envelopes, but I kind of want to make it into a sturdier book. So I cut out 2 pieces of chipboard, and actually 3 pieces, a front and a back and the spine. And I just, measured how I wanted this to look, because this is going to be the cover. And I made sure there's probably about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch showing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be using something called Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. This is something that I use quite often, and I usually I show you how to use it also in my junk journal online class, and I'll put a link down for that below. And I have some fabric here because I love using fabric, and it kind of matches, and it's not too overwhelming for the whole look. It's kind of a soft kind of blue with a little bit of a pattern on it. So I made sure that there's plenty of room all the way around the chipboard so that I can fold it over like this. Once it's folded over and stuck onto the chipboard, I will be adding an inside panel. So I'm going to go and cut this out the exact same width and length of the fabric, and then I'm going to show you how it works. And just for those of you who are completely new to this, when you're cutting your chipboard, you want to make sure the front and the back cover are the same size as much as possible. And then the inside of this on the spine, that's all up to you. This is 2 inches, so it's going to be a fairly large junk journal. And then you just barely want like maybe 1/8 of an inch at the most between the spine and the front cover and the back cover. So that's how you're going to measure where you're going to be placing all 3 panels onto your fabric. And I will be marking with a pencil or an erasable pen all along the edges here before I stick the panels onto the fabric. I cut out the Ultra Hold Heat and Bond to the exact measurements of the fabric, and I drew where the panels are going to go, but I'm not sure it's going to make a difference because I don't know if this will be see-through. We'll see. If not, it's okay. I'm not worried about it. And the fact that the chipboard is really thick, so I don't even know if this is going to work. It might work a little, or it might work a lot, not sure. So I just don't like the way that glue looks with fabric. You might be able to find a spray glue that works well, or maybe use Yes glue, which is a dry glue that you spread on like a paste, but I don't have any. So I'm just going to try this and see how it works, and I'll show you what it looks like when I iron this on. So basically, think of this as a sticker for your book. There's adhesive on this side, and it's kind of shiny and bumpy. That's the side you're going to heat onto the back of your fabric. And then once it's heated, I'll show you what it looks like. We're going to peel it up. Once you peel off this paper, it's going to be, it's not sticky, but once you put heat onto it, it adheres to the other side of the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and iron this on. Just follow the instructions, but basically you use a really hot setting with no steam. Okay, it's on there. So one thing you need to make sure is that all the corners and the edges are completely stuck onto your fabric on the back, because if they're not, then you're gonna have to go back over it. And so you can just take a piece of parchment paper, especially if there's some overage of the sticky part that's on the back of this piece of paper on the Heat and Bond. because I'm going to show you what it looks like. It kind of looks like that. So there was some overage, and that would have meant that this would have stuck to my ironing board. And all I did to prevent that was I put a piece of parchment paper. Don't use wax paper. Not the same thing. Just ironed it just like this so that it wouldn't stick to my ironing board. So now I'm pretty sure everything is stuck on there, and it feels so good. It feels really stable, and it gives it some body. So the way you're going to be able to tell if it actually stuck, and it's not a problem if it hasn't, because you can just go back over it with your iron, is just kind of start peeling it back, and you'll see a shiny residue on the fabric. See that? And it just peels off. It's very satisfying. And luckily, the marks that I made on the fabric show through, so I know where to place the panels. And it'll be tricky. The first one's going to be tricky because I have to turn it over. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. But I might try to heat it on this side first. So maybe it'll just kind of stick a little bit. And I think the best thing to do is maybe start in the middle. Yeah, because this is really sturdy. So I'm going to experiment, and if it works, I'll let you know. I'll come back. So I have it on here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring the iron here, and then that way I'm going to iron it to this side and then iron the other side. I know you can't see it completely. And then that way it'll be kind of stuck. I'm going to also do it this way, and then I'm going to flip it over and then iron onto the actual fabric on the other side. Just have to be very careful. Just kind of like tacking it down. So I'm going to do that on all 4 sides of the panels, and I'll be right back. So I ironed the sides down. One thing you have to make sure of is it has to be, you can't really move anything around, and the sides of the edges have to be really firmly against, otherwise there'll be a gap. It'll be kind of loosey-goosey. So it feels like it's pretty good. And then one thing you need to make sure is, now that I'm going to be folding this over and ironing it down, I cut the edge off here, and this is what I did. It's going to be kind of hard at this angle, but I just followed the line along the edge of the panel here, and then I cut this off, this little flap off here, just at a little bit of an angle, not too much, so that now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these 2 over. Actually, I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack this down, and I'm really pulling this up. And again, this is on the hottest setting. And I'm not going to iron the flap down here. I'm going to just wait on that. Because what I'd like to do is do a little miter here. So I'll leave about 1 inch at the edge unironed. And I'm really kind of pulling this up. You just got to make sure that you're not going to pull it so much that you're going to be messing with the top. It's already in place because we did the sides, so that was the biggest part. And I'm just going to let it sit on here, and then I'm going to do this side up here, and I'll come back. Alright, so it looks pretty good. I love the way that looks. It's a little fiddly, but it's worth it, because then you just look so much better than glue. And then you definitely want to cut off all the threads, because they'll show through and make lumps when you add your inside cover. So go ahead and do that. It's a little warped, mostly because of the heat, but that can be, see, it's kind of warped, alleviated once now we're going to try it this way. So this will be the test. I'm going to start in the middle and go out, and again, it's the very same heat method. It's on the highest setting, and because we're trying to adhere it to a thick piece of cardboard, just keep it on there for a little bit longer than the instructions say. And I'll be back. Worked! Yay! Looky here, it's nice and it moves well. And then it really stuck to the front. So happy. So yeah, the Ultra Hold works pretty good. Alright, so what I want to do now is I'm not going to, this is going to be the front. I'll probably, you know, I changed my mind quite a bit, but I'm not going to glue it because I want to make sure I know what kind of closure I want. And if I want it to tie, I want to put some kind of ribbon underneath and then glue this down. Or I might put an eyelet on one side and then just close it that way. So I'm not sure exactly yet what I'm going to do. You could, if you wanted to, add another panel of fabric, but I think I want to go with some paper. I'm going to go look in my stash. It's pretty long. I could get away with a 12 by 12 sheet of scrapbook paper, so I'm going to see if I have that, and then if I wanted to, I could line it with some lace on the edges because it's pretty slim. In fact, I should have cut that part off right there, but yeah, so if you want the dimensions of this, it is going to be a pretty big junk journal. Wow, I didn't plan that, but that's 7 inches by 9 inches. Yay! It's an even. It's not like 9 3/4. That's what I'm trying to say. And I already told you this is 2 inches by 9. So if you wanted to follow along with me while I've been doing this for a year, whoopsie, you can do that. And I am going to go look for some paper, and then I'll be back. All right, everyone, we're done for this segment. I glued down the paper, and it wasn't big enough, so all I did was I cut an extra strip, and because it's kind of, I mean, I could always put something there. I don't know if you can even see that, but more than likely, I'm probably going to cover it up with another page that I've done. And I'm not going to fold it because I'm waiting for it to dry. It's still wet. And all I used was regular glue. I just used the PVA glue that I always use. That's the pH neutral PVA glue. And I used an old credit card, and I smoothed it so that it wasn't, so that you couldn't see the lines of the glue. And I'm just going to keep pressing it down and waiting till it dries. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. I'm going to make another one right after this, and it's going to be something that kind of went viral on my Instagram. It's these little paint swatches that I loved, and there's lots of things that I love, but for some reason they just caught everybody's attention. So I'm going to do a little video on that, on how I did that, and how it helps when you're making a journal so that you can kind of pull it in so that you don't get distracted and start adding all kinds of different colors for your journal. So I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and it helps the algorithm for people to find me better. And I'm not here all the time because I'm super busy with my membership site. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to my Instagram and become part of my Instagram. And I'll probably friend you back. You can go to my Pinterest. Again, please subscribe to and like my video that you see here. And then I will have a playlist of all of the pieces that we've been making over the last 9 months or so for this journal. And you can figure out, I'll show you how to do this. So I think this will be either the 5th or 6th series for the Shabby Blue series. But I'll put all the links down below, and also a link for the heat and bond, the heavy duty heat and bond. So thank you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.